Would love to hear your take on Cade's performance today and what it meant for the team.
Obviously, there's a lot been made about his performance this year, and I think people will know he's a really good player. I think I said it maybe 2 weeks ago. You need to appreciate what you're watching. It's special, and I've watched it for now 5 years. I've seen this for a long time, and I'm not surprised that on the biggest game on our schedule, on the road, he stepped up and was ready to go compete at the highest level. And obviously, he played against a really good team. It was a hell of a game. I've only been around here for 3, 5, 7, 8 games in this series. Well, 10, I guess, because I was an assistant. Juwan Evans' performance in Stillwater, my year as an assistant coach, was pretty damn good. I think he scored like the last 20 points in the game. But I think you have to dig pretty deep to find one better than this one today.
You know, you mentioned Juwan's performance. Cade today and Juwan that day, that's the only 2 Cowboys to ever drop 40 on the Sooners ever.
Yeah, and he's 19 years old, by the way, in case anybody needs a reminder why he's special. And you know, again, I get it. You want to see him do that every night. He does what his team needs for us to win. And sometimes that means getting 40, which he's certainly capable of. I'm sure our fans would have loved to see more 40-point performances. But there's a reason that Matthew Alexander-Moncrief was able to get double-digit rebounds, and Bryce Williams was able to hit big shots, and Avery Anderson developed the confidence that he has because he's allowed those guys to continue to grow through this season. And it's a credit to him, his ability to understand what's needed and to be able to go out and do it.
Is it time for the Wooden Award voters and the Naismith voters and all them to start taking a good look at Cade? And why would he be, if so, why would he be worthy of that?
I mean, I would imagine there's a few people watching the game, even outside of the state of Oklahoma. I'm sure everybody in the state was watching it. But there's no question in my mind he's the best player in the country. And there's no question in my mind, you know, there's a lot of really good players out there. Whoever has the number 1 pick, they can overthink this. This one's not that hard.
All right, members of the media, if you have a question for Oklahoma State head coach Mike Boynton, please click raise hand and we'll try and get to everybody. Our first question is going to come from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Mike, I want to start with Cade and Elijah Harkless's battle. You know, they didn't start Elijah today, and he came off the bench and tried to wreak havoc on Cade. But what did you see? How did you see Cade react, and what did you think of that matchup?
Well, Harkless is a hell of a player, not just offensively. He made some big shots for him too, but he's relentless. And you know what I see from him when I watch film is a guy who understands that he's got the biggest assignment, and that means that guy's going to get some baskets, but he doesn't back down. And that's a credit to him, obviously to his coaches, instilling that confidence to just stay at it. And I'm sure, you know, got to turn around and do this thing again. That he'll be ready for, you know, a couple opportunities to show what he's capable of doing.
How did Cade kind of respond to that, though? It seemed like Cade really kind of thrived on that matchup, on that one-on-one battle that he hadn't had a lot of that necessarily at times this season.
Well, I don't know if he didn't have it as much as he was really aggressive, continuing to attack. He played through some contact, and you know he didn't get frustrated today, knowing that the game was going to be pretty physical. So I thought he handled it like a fifth-year senior, and certainly would do anything back to get him back as a second-year sophomore. But he's going to be on the bigger and better things, and he's going to be doing that against some of the best defenders in the whole world in about 7 or 8 months or so.
And what are the challenges of turning around in 48 hours now that you're here now? You talked about it a little bit yesterday. You're not sure what to expect, but now that you've had an overtime game and you've got to figure out how to recover tomorrow and then turn around and do this again.
Well, I think we can play better as a team. I don't think we played our best game. We turned it over a lot. We didn't really get a KB established as well as we wanted to. And, I thought our guys just played as hard as they could for 45 minutes and gave ourselves a chance. But there's a lot of room to grow still for this team in terms of execution. And
what's the status on Ice? I know you said he had a hand injury. I assume that's what held him out. And what do you think about Monday with him?
I don't know. I think he's just going to keep getting treatment today when we get back, tomorrow as much as possible. And, if he can go, if the trainer say he's ready to go, if the kid feels like he can go out there and give us everything that he's capable of, then he'll play. If not, again, my job is to help these guys maximize not only what they can do here. That kid's got a future in basketball too, and I don't want to do anything to hinder his growth from a physical standpoint of what he's going to be able to do moving forward. So we'll see. Hopefully I'll have more information tomorrow, but right now we'll just call it day to day.
And Avery said that Ice was Mike Boynton 2.0 on the bench there. He was just as much coaching. What did you see from Ice on the bench as a coach?
Yeah, it's what you need. It's I need him on the court, right? But I need him on the court for the long haul. And that's why we're not going to press him right now. We're thinking bigger than just today. As big as today was, we see something in our future that, if he's available, can really, really help us. And so, no question, he was the vocal leader. I was coaching, but he was the biggest cheerleader we had today.
Thanks, Mike.
Our next question comes from Barry Trammell from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, Mike, the nature of this game, the thrill of everything we saw today, how does that play into knowing the same two teams go at it Monday night, just 48 hours from now? Is this a case of strategy changes completely? Is it a case that you try to let everybody celebrate today and get at it tomorrow? How do you approach a situation this unique?
I think the natural tendency is to think that the team that lost today would want to make more adjustments. But, it's a pretty close game throughout. And so I think there may be some slight adjustments on both sides. Lon Kruger's a Hall of Famer, and he's going to have his team prepared to play as well and as hard as they did today on Monday. And my job is to make sure that we learn something and not take for granted that just because we won today that we can't play the same way Monday and expect it. Right now, can we expect that Cade's capable of getting 40? Yeah, but we can't turn it over 20 times. And we can't, Caleb will start the game well, but again, we got to get more out of that spot. And those are some areas I'm going to watch film and try to figure out how to address it.
I know you're in the middle of coaching a game and you got a million things on your mind. Were you able to just enjoy the game? How fun it was? This wasn't 57-52, both teams shooting 36% from the field. Both of you shot right at 49%. Everybody making shots. An historic performance by Cade. Some clutch plays by OU. You got some of your role players make huge plays down the stretch. What can you just enjoy this game and sort of see how much fun it was?
I always enjoy it, Barry. I love this. I absolutely love what I get to do for a living. I could not imagine doing anything else than being on that court at 2:00 this afternoon Central Time in this building with these kids. And I'm appreciative of the fact that I get to do something that I really love for a living. So every time we go out, the losses are hard, no question about it. It's stressful. This is a high pressure business. I get that. But I do this for the kids, and I do it because I love the game and the opportunity to be with them and help them grow. So absolutely, I loved every moment out there.
Cade Cunningham, you did a big thing today. 40 points in a Bedlam game. Only two people in Oklahoma State history have ever done that. You and Juwan Evans, both of you guys actually did it as freshmen. Let us know. What was going through your mind today? How were you feeling? What was, kind of take us through it a little bit.
I still went into the game with the same intention, play to win, play for my team. And, my team trusted me throughout the game to, take shots. And with that confidence, I'm only confident to make them. So, yeah, I kept shooting. And I didn't know I ended up with 40 until the end. So it was cool to see that, for sure.
Avery, obviously, all season it's been team and depth and all that kind of stuff, but today really stood out. 40 points is hard to do in a game. Are you sitting next to a Wooden Award type guy, a Naismith Award type guy? And have you ever seen? Say that again.
I said for sure that, just big time players make big time plays, and Cade a big time player. So that's my dog, and I'm happy to see that he did that for us and came through in the clutch for us.
What was some of the talk and some of those late game timeouts? What was going through as far as the planning and everything?
Just get stops and try to get on the run. And offense is going to take care of itself. And that's what we did. We executed on the defensive end, got stops, played solid, and we went down and executed.
And Cade, this may be your only trip to Norman. Was there any kind of education process for you about what Bedlam means to Oklahoma State people?
Yeah, definitely. They've been talking about it, pretty much the whole season, from the beginning of the season, how big Bedlam was for us. We watched the video before the game. I knew how much it meant, and I tried to carry that, into the game, carry that mentality, like I'm playing for more than myself. So I think we all did that, and that's why we played with such grit today, and we came out with a win.
All right, members of the media, if you have a question for Oklahoma State's Avery Anderson or Cade Cunningham, please click raise hand and we'll try and get to everybody. Please just address your question to who you want to have answer it, though. Our first question comes from Jacob Unruh from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Jacob.
Yeah, Cade, there's lots of places we could start here, but I want to start with the battle you had with Elijah Harkless. Talk about what he did defensively against you and the fun you were having in that battle, because there are a couple times that looked like you were really enjoying that one-on-one with him. Yeah,
definitely. He's a really good defender. And they put the matchup on me and really trusting him. And a lot of times they kind of let us play one-on-one. So, anytime I can get, one-on-ones and things like that, I'm gonna have fun. He's a competitor, I'm a competitor. So, we're going at each other for sure.
And knowing now that you've faced him in 48 hours, what do you take from that? How do you learn from that going at him 48 hours from now again?
I have to watch the film again, but like I said, he's going to compete, and I appreciate that. So, that only elevates my game and makes me want to compete harder too. So, watching the film, I gave up a little. I had too many times where I was a little bit nonchalant with the basketball. I let him, get his hand on the ball and things like that. But yeah, other than that, just staying aggressive and playing my game.
And down the stretch in regulation, especially, I think you had 10 of the last 13. Did you kind of just flip a switch and get more aggressive? What was going through? What was your kind of plan of attack there?
Yeah, I knew that they didn't want, me being aggressive, especially after I had made a couple. So, just trying to play to that and keep applying pressure. And with that, I drew a lot of attention, and guys around me were making shots. 1K, Avery, Rondell, everybody was confident and stepping in to make plays. So anytime I could draw attention to get them the ball, that's going to help us for sure.
And Avery, I got to ask about Caleb late. He had moments today where he wasn't necessarily his best, but he had the big rebound and the big free throws in overtime. How big is that for Caleb to come through knowing that he's such a guy that relies so much on his confidence?
He just stayed tuned into the game. Just knowing what he had to do for us to win that ball game, he knew he had to rebound for us to get an extra possession, and that's what he did for us. And that was big time. That was like the biggest play of the game.
For sure. That and those free throws that he made, easily the biggest plays of the game.
And Avery, you've been in this game before. How much fun was today though when you've got this back and forth?
It was much fun than last year at this time. But yeah, I would say it was a good game to play because it was back and forth, and the competitiveness was just at an all-time high, and that's the games I feel for.
Awesome. Thanks, fellas.
So, yeah.
Our next question comes from Barry Trammell from the Oklahoman. Go ahead, Barry.
Still on mute?
Yeah, Barry, you there?
There we go. Hey, Cade, it wasn't the typical Bedlam game because of the COVID capacities and whatnot, but did this game feel different than when you played Tech or Texas or Kansas or some of these other great games you've played in recent weeks?
I wouldn't say that the arena was different, but just the way that, we carried ourselves, we knew how much the game meant, like I said, for us and for school. So, we came in with the chip on our shoulder, wanting to win for our team and for our school, and we did that.
And Avery, how about you? How did you feel like this game was different from others that you played, considering in 48 hours we're going to turn around and do the same thing only in Stillwater?
Yeah, I would say from last year's game, it was a lot louder, and since it wasn't a lot of fans in seats, it really was different, like the noise level. But other than that, we just came to play, and we got to rest up for the game at our crib and protect home court.
Our next question comes from Marshall Scott from Pistols Firing. Go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, Cade, you mentioned Bryce earlier. I think he was 2 for 10 in his last 10 3-point attempts. It feels like he just needed that one to go in. Kind of what did you see from Bryce today?
Confidence. He stepped into his shots and let them fly like, we're used to seeing him do. And, anytime, like, we have so many weapons on this team that I feel like, maybe don't get as much credit as they deserve. And, when those guys are firing, it only makes our team more tough to beat. I think that's one of the biggest things about us is that, we have a lot of different options on offense, in transition and things like that. So it's a lot harder to game plan for us. So, having Bryce come in and make, 4 big threes for us was huge.
Also on the defensive end, there's a lot of weapons we have. Back at guard 1 through 4, and Bryce made he was making big time plays on the defensive end on reads. Since I wasn't guarding him, I was guarding Devion. That's the thing about us. We guard to switch up.
And I was kind of going to mention that it seems like at the end of the game, they were trying to get MA switched on everybody, kind of trying to get him switched on guards. What did you think of the way he attacked that kind of challenge? He won some, he lost some, but for a freshman to go against, guys like Reeves and really accept that challenge, it kind of shows a lot from him.
It's only a learning experience for him. And knowing MA, he's so competitive, he wants those type of challenges. And he took it head on. Like, he didn't try to disguise himself from it. He didn't try to, point fingers at other guys or anything. He took it head on, and that's why we appreciate him. Like I said, everybody's so competitive, and he just wants to get better. He knows that, win or lose, it's a time to get better. And he made a couple big plays for us. So, I shout out him for just steady competing and making big plays.